Ferrari's Brazil meltdown triggered a war of words. But what Lewis Hamilton said next, no one saw it coming. Elkann's jab lit the fuse, and Vegas became the battleground. The fallout from Ferrari's disastrous double DNF in Brazil has taken a dramatic turn. After Executive Chairman John Elkann publicly urged his drivers to talk less and focus on driving, both Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc have now weighed in. The Sao Paulo Grand Prix was a nightmare for the Scuderia. Leclerc's race ended in chaos at turn 1 after a collision with Kimi Antonelli's Mercedes, an incident that also snared McLaren's Oscar Piastri. Hamilton, nursing damage from earlier contact, was eventually forced to retire as well. The result? Ferrari tumbled from second to fourth in the constructors' standings. Elkann's blunt post-race comments sent shockwaves through the paddock, hinting at internal frustration. But ahead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, Leclerc struck a more diplomatic tone. He revealed he'd spoken directly with Elkann, framing the remarks as a reflection of their shared hunger to return Ferrari to the top. John has known me for many, many years, and we have a very good relationship, and we've always been very honest with ourselves and speak to each other very regularly. So, obviously, we have spoken since then, said Leclerc. Obviously, John is a very ambitious person and wants the best for Ferrari, just like I do, and we are trying to do our best in order to make sure that Ferrari is back on top. That's John's priority. That is my priority. That is the priority of the whole team. And we are doing absolutely everything to do that. The best thing I can do is to keep doing my best and do everything to bring back the team that I love to the top of the standings. Leclerc made it clear. Setbacks don't shake his spirit. The Monegasque insisted that tough moments throughout the season haven't dulled his drive. If anything, they've only sharpened his hunger to fight back. All seasons are challenging. I don't think there are any that are easier, Leclerc added. There are some that are happier, and some others that are a bit more difficult to keep the smile on. This is probably one of those that is a little bit more difficult from the first race to the last race, as we had high expectations after last year. We started on that back foot and then you have to try to recover from there. That doesn't hurt my motivation. I'm very motivated. I'm very driven by bringing back Ferrari to the top. And that's what motivates me. It's been a tough one, but I still see a lot of positives in a season like that. And I'm sure a season like that will help us to be better in the future. But we've got to do more, and a lot more, in order to fight for a championship, which I hope will be for next year. On the other hand, Lewis Hamilton isn't letting the noise get to him. In response to Ferrari chairman John Elkann's jab about drivers needing to focus on driving, Hamilton fired back with quiet conviction, saying he literally wakes up thinking about the sport. It's a subtle but sharp reminder that his commitment runs deeper than headlines or boardroom soundbites. Fast forward to the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and Elkann's words dominated the pre-race press conference. When asked if it was fair to question his focus, Hamilton didn't flinch. The 7-time world champion stood his ground, subtly pushing back against the implication that his commitment was anything less than total. Not really. I wake up thinking about it, and I go to sleep thinking about it, and I think about it when I'm sleeping, he said. If anything, I have to focus on being able to unplug more. It's been a really heavy year. It's been the busiest year that I think I've had. I've been at the factory more than I think I was at any other factory before. Hamilton brushed off the criticism with trademark composure, saying he didn't take Elkann's comments to heart. For the 7-time champ, it's not about ego, it's about execution. The message may have been sharp, but Hamilton's response was all class. We've just been focused on doing our job back at the factory, so everyone's super focused on improving, the 7-time world champion explained. I speak to John every week. We have an amazing relationship. The passion has not disappeared from our team. We've obviously got a steep hill to climb, but we want to finish off strong this year. Hamilton doubled down on his move to Ferrari, making it clear he has no regrets. I know exactly why I made this decision, the Briton said, his tone firm and unwavering. It's about legacy, about passion, and I'm all in. It was very difficult at some points during the year, but I feel like I've really surprised myself in terms of my resilience. I still feel very, very positive. I still feel very determined, very dedicated to the challenge we have. And I just really see that every challenge that we have is an opportunity to learn and grow. It has been the most challenging year, and it's definitely not a year that I would ever dream of, especially in your first year at Ferrari, but we take the learnings from every single weekend. And I really feel like we take the learnings from this year to grow onto something better in the future. I firmly believe in absolutely every single individual at the factory and here at the track who do an extraordinary job. Every week they give it 100%, and that is all you can ever ask of people. Of course, we've got to continue to, I'm committed to helping them rebuild and grow back to their winning ways. Hamilton may be chasing podiums this season, but the thrill of donning Ferrari red hasn't faded one bit. Despite a lone sprint win in China and a podium drought since, the seven-time world champion remains energized by the challenge. Meanwhile, Leclerc has racked up 7 podiums. But for Hamilton, it's not just about results. It's about legacy, passion, and writing a new chapter with the most iconic team in F1. I still pinch myself honestly that I'm in red, that I get to drive a Ferrari and get to represent so many of these amazing people that you don't get to see back at the factory, he said. I joined this team knowing full well that it takes time to steer a ship in a different direction. This is a huge thing. It's a huge organization. There's so many moving parts. You can't fix it in the click of a finger. It takes real time. It's not been what any of us wanted in terms of a season, with the troubles that we've had and the results that we've had. We've just continued to push on, full steam. Even with the setbacks, Hamilton sees silver linings in scarlet. Reflecting on his debut season with Ferrari, he shared that it's reminded me how resilient I am. A quiet but powerful statement from a driver who's weathered more than his share of storms. The results may not be there yet, but the fire clearly is. I back this team 100%, I back myself 100%, and I know that when we get things right, it is going to be amazing, said Hamilton. I cannot wait for that moment, and I truly believe that will happen, and I'm not losing sight of that, even with all the difficult days we have had. Hamilton's response wasn't just bold, it was a line in the sand. As Ferrari fights to climb back, the pressure's mounting. But what do you think? Was Elkann right to call them out?